The statue that stopped Africa, how one superfan became AFCON's greatest symbol of unity. When devotion becomes legend. In the heart of Morocco's 2025 Africa Cup of Nations, while 22 players battled on the pitch, one man stood absolutely still and captured the soul of an entire continent. Michel Nkuka Mboladinga didn't score goals. He didn't make tactical decisions. He simply stood motionless, arm raised to the sky, embodying the spirit of Patrice Lumumba, and in doing so, became the most talked-about figure of AFCON 2025. This is a story of how unwavering dedication transforms a fan into a legend, how respect transcends rivalry, and how one statue-still superfan reminded millions what sport should truly represent. The birth of a living monument. Michel Nkuka Mboladinga arrived at AFCON 2025 with a vision that would resonate far beyond the football stadiums of Morocco. The Democratic Republic of Congo supporter didn't just want to cheer for his beloved leopards, he wanted to honor his nation's greatest hero in a way nobody had ever attempted. Dressed meticulously to mirror Patrice Lumumba, DR Congo's revered first prime minister and independence leader, Mboladinga positioned himself on a pedestal during every match. His right arm extended upward in perfect replication of Lumumba's iconic statue that stands proudly in Kinshasa, the nation's capital. The dedication was extraordinary. While thousands of fans around him erupted in celebration, groaned in disappointment, and rode the emotional roller coaster that only football can create, Mboladinga remained frozen. Not a muscle twitched, not a finger lowered. Through goals, near misses, controversial calls, and heart-stopping moments, he stood as immovable as the bronze monument he represented. His tribute carried profound meaning. Patrice Lumumba remains a towering figure in African history, a symbol of independence, dignity, and the relentless pursuit of freedom. By embodying this legacy during Africa's premier football tournament, Mboladinga wasn't just supporting a team. He was channeling the indomitable spirit of an entire nation's struggle and triumph. Social media exploded with admiration. Videos of the living statue circulated across platforms, accumulating millions of views. Commentators marveled at his discipline. Fellow fans from across Africa expressed respect for his unique form of patriotism. Mboladinga had found a way to make stillness speak louder than the loudest chant. The tournament that united a nation. Match after match, Mboladinga's presence grew from novelty to necessity. Fans began searching for him in the stand before kickoff, their own pre-game ritual. The cameras found him repeatedly, broadcasting his unwavering stance to viewers worldwide. He became a symbol not just for DR Congo, but for the power of authentic, creative fan culture. The Leopards fought valiantly through the tournament, and with each passing game, the connection between team and tribute deepened. Players acknowledged knowing he was there, standing guard over their efforts like a protective spirit from their nation's history. Young Congolese fans saw in Mboladinga something profound, a demonstration that supporting your country doesn't require conformity. You don't have to follow the standard playbook of painted faces and coordinated chants. Sometimes, the most powerful statement is one of dignified, silent presence. His commitment spoke to universal themes that transcend football: discipline, honor, remembrance, sacrifice. While others jumped and sang, Mboladinga showed that true devotion sometimes means staying absolutely steady when everything around you is chaos. The tournament organizers took notice. Media credentials were extended. Interview requests poured in. But Mboladinga maintained his focus, saving his motion for moments off-camera, preserving the purity of his tribute during the matches themselves. When victory meets controversy, Tuesday brought heartbreak. Algeria defeated the Democratic Republic of Congo in a grueling contest that extended into extra time. Dreams of advancing further in AFCON 2025 evaporated in those crushing final minutes. For Congolese fans, including Mboladinga, the loss cut deep. Then came the moment that would transform a tournament story into a broader conversation about respect and sportsmanship. 25-year-old Algerian forward Mohamed Amina Moura, caught up in the emotion of victory, mimicked Mboladinga's statue pose before dramatically falling to the ground, symbolically toppling the monument that had stood so proudly. The reaction was immediate and intense. What Moura may have intended as playful celebration struck many as profoundly disrespectful. Social media erupted with criticism. The gesture appeared to mock not just a dedicated fan, but the historical figure he represented and, by extension, an entire nation's heritage. Congolese fans felt the sting acutely. Mboladinga had spent the tournament elevating the beautiful game with his tribute, demonstrating how sports can honor history and unite people. To see that tribute turned into a victory taunt felt like a violation of the spirit he'd worked so hard to create. The backlash against Amora grew rapidly. Fans from across Africa, not just DR Congo, expressed disappointment. The incident threatened to overshadow what had been a compelling match and to cast a shadow over Algeria's legitimate achievement on the pitch. The apology that restored faith. Recognizing the severity of the situation, both Mohamed Amin Amora and the Algerian Football Federation moved swiftly to make amends. The young forward took to Instagram, posting a heartfelt apology that acknowledged the unintended hurt his gesture had caused. "My action was not intended to disrespect DR Congo, its people, or the incredible tribute paid by their supporter," Amora wrote, accepting responsibility for his lapse in judgment during the heated moments following his team's victory. The Algerian Football Federation issued its own formal apology to Mboladinga specifically and to the Democratic Republic of Congo more broadly. The statement emphasized a mutual respect that should define African football and acknowledged that the incident had fallen short of the standards of brotherhood and dignity that AFCON represents. These apologies mattered enormously. They demonstrated accountability and showed that when mistakes happen, even in the high-stakes, emotion-charged world of international football, there's space for reflection, growth, and reconciliation. But what came next elevated the story from controversy to something genuinely beautiful, a demonstration of grace that would define Mboladinga's legacy far more than any single pose or tribute ever could. The meeting that became a masterclass in dignity. On Wednesday, Michel Nkuka Mboladinga traveled to the Algerian team's hotel. Heartbroken from his team's elimination but unbowed in spirit, he accepted the invitation to meet face-to-face with the players who had ended DR Congo's tournament. The meeting could have been tense, awkward, or purely ceremonial. Instead, it became one of AFCON 2025 defining moments. Mboladinga and Amora embraced. Photographs captured genuine warmth between the superfan and the team that had defeated his beloved Leopards. Here was forgiveness in action. Here was a man who had every right to nurse his wounds, choosing instead to extend understanding. Mboladinga recognized that Amora's mistake was born from youthful exuberance rather than malice, and he chose to respond with the same dignity he displayed throughout the tournament. The Algerian players expressed their admiration for his dedication and creativity. They thanked him for bringing something special to the tournament. And Mboladinga, in turn, congratulated them on their victory and wished them well in their continued pursuit of the AFCON title. This reconciliation resonated powerfully across social media and sports coverage. It provided a template for how conflicts, even those played out on the world stage, can be resolved through direct communication, sincere apology, and generous forgiveness. The hero who never moved. As Michel Nkuka Mboladinga prepared to leave Morocco, the tributes poured in from unexpected sources. Journalists who'd covered dozens of African Cup of Nations tournaments called him the most memorable fan they'd ever encountered. Players from various nations acknowledged the inspiration they'd drawn from his presence. The Democratic Republic of Congo had exited the tournament, but their greatest ambassador had achieved something remarkable. Without kicking a ball, without coaching from the sidelines, without any of the traditional routes to football fame, Mboladinga had left an indelible mark on AFCON 2025. His tribute to Patrice Lumumba had introduced a new generation to their nation's hero. Young Congolese supporters who may have known the name only vaguely now understood the significance of the figure their superfan had embodied. History and sport had merged in a powerful reminder that our present actions can honor our past while inspiring our future. Mboladinga proved that creativity and authenticity resonate more powerfully than any expensive marketing campaign. His simple concept, standing still while honoring greatness, cut through the noise of modern sports fandom and connected with something deeper in the human spirit. The lasting impact extends beyond AFCON 2025. Mboladinga has set a standard for meaningful fan engagement. He has shown that supporting your team can simultaneously educate, inspire, and unite people across borders and backgrounds. Lesson from a living statue. What can we learn from Michel Nkuka Mboladinga's AFCON journey? The lessons are profound and applicable far beyond football stadiums. Authenticity conquers conformity. In a world of choreographed fan sections and manufactured enthusiasm, Mboladinga's genuine tribute stood out precisely because it came from a place of deep personal and national pride. He didn't follow anyone else's playbook. He wrote his own. Discipline speaks volumes. Remaining motionless for 90 minutes or more during extra time requires extraordinary self-control. That discipline became its own message that some commitments are worth maintaining regardless of circumstances swirling around you. Forgiveness elevates everyone. Mboladinga's choice to meet with the Algerian team and graciously accept their apology transformed a negative incident into a positive story. His grace gave Amora a path to redemption and gave all of us an example of how to handle public mistakes with maturity. History matters in the present. By choosing to honor Patrice Lumumba, Mboladinga reminded viewers that the struggles and achievements of previous generations remain relevant. Sports can be a vehicle for remembering and celebrating that history, not escaping from it. Unity transcends competition. The reconciliation between Mboladinga and the Algerian team demonstrated that fierce competition on the pitch doesn't require animosity off it. African football gained a beautiful story about brotherhood that will outlast any individual match result. The ripple effect of one man's vision. The impact of Mboladinga's AFCON 2025 performance continues to expand. Other fans have already announced plans to honor their national heroes at future tournaments. The conversation about creative, meaningful fan engagement has reached federation offices and tournament organizers. Educational content about Patrice Lumumba has surged online, with many explicitly citing Mboladinga's tribute as an introduction to the leader's significance. Schools in DR Congo have incorporated discussions of Mboladinga's AFCON appearance into lessons about national identity and creative expression. Sports psychologists and cultural commentators have analyzed his approach, noting how his method of support, calm, dignified, historically grounded, offers an antidote to the sometimes toxic aspects of modern fan culture. His example suggests alternative ways to express passion without aggression or exclusion. Marketing professionals have taken note as well. Mboladinga's organic rise to fame, achieved without corporate sponsorship or professional promotion, demonstrates the power of authentic storytelling in the digital age. His story spread because it genuinely moved people, not because algorithms were purchased or influencers were paid. Most importantly, Mboladinga has given the Democratic Republic of Congo something invaluable, a positive story that captured global attention. In a world where news from DR Congo often focuses on challenges and conflicts, here was a narrative of creativity, dignity, and ultimately reconciliation that highlighted the best of Congolese spirit. When standing still moves millions. Michel Nkuka Mboladinga arrived at AFCON 2025 as a superfan with an idea. He left as a hero, an ambassador, and a symbol of what sports fandom can be at its finest. His journey from pedestal to controversy to reconciliation gave us one of the tournament's most compelling narratives. While the Algerian team or eventual champions will lift the trophy, Mboladinga has already won something perhaps more valuable, a permanent place in AFCON history and in the hearts of football fans across Africa and beyond. The Leopards didn't advance to the final stages. The scoreboard showed defeat, but through Mboladinga's unwavering dedication, creative vision, and gracious spirit, the Democratic Republic of Congo emerged with a victory of a different kind of demonstration that supporting your team and honoring your heritage can inspire millions and create moments of genuine human connection. As Mboladinga boarded his flight home from Morocco, he carried with him the respect of a continent and the knowledge that his motionless tribute had moved more people than he could have imagined. His arm finally lowered, his costume packed away. But the statue he embodied, both Lumumba's physical monument and the metaphorical one Mboladinga himself became, will stand forever in the memory of AFCON 2025. Your turn to make history. Michel Nkuka Mboladinga's story proves that you don't need to be on the field to make an impact. You don't need professional credentials to inspire millions. What you need is authentic passion, creative vision, and the courage to stand firm in your commitment. What legacy will you create? What tribute will you pay to the heroes who paved your path? At History Maker, we believe everyone has the power to create moments that transcend the ordinary. Whether through sport, art, business, or community service, your unique contribution is waiting to be discovered. Join the History Maker community today. Share your vision. Connect with others who refuse to be spectators in their own lives. Learn strategies for turning authentic passion into lasting impact. Because history isn't just made by those who move the fastest or shout the loudest. Sometimes, history is made by those who have the courage to stand perfectly still while the world watches. Visit History Maker now and start writing your chapter in the story of human achievement. Stand for something. Create something. Become something. Become a history maker.